I bought the spindle without a motor because the motors it shipped with were 110 volts. So instead what we've got is a brushless DC motor off a radio-controlled helicopter. This thing gets insanely fast, enough for these belts to become almost circular. We won't run it quite that fast though. I've also got spots on it for mounting a Dremel extension. So if you want something with a bit more torque than what the high precision spindle can do, then you can mount a Dremel extender onto there. And these 4 bolts are for a 3D print head. I've got a couple which are in various stages of completion. So those just kind of bolt on there, and then you can use it for 3D printing as well. So the motor control is not currently under EMC's control yet. I'm just running it up from a serial port. So I can bring that up and make it go a bit faster.
What's 50%?
Insanely fast. Being for a radio-controlled helicopter, this motor's hitting like 30 or 40,000 RPM at full speed, and I don't run it anywhere near that.
Okay, what's 20%?
Well, I'll show you about the fastest that I'm happy to take it. Okay, so you can kind of see that this belt's starting to fall down.
Awesome.
So what's controlling that is just a Arduino hanging off a serial port, which is generating servo signals using MHV to drive a brushless DC motor controller, which is straight off Deal Extreme, standard radio control part.
That's really simple.
So yeah, basically me typing numbers in there just changes the duty cycle of the servo signal and spins the motor up accordingly. So, on to the interesting part. If you actually want to cut something, so once you've launched the software, fire the machine up, home all the axes, make sure cables don't get caught. I have bodged on some micro switches so it can use it as limit switches, and that also doubles as our home position, so it'll slowly make its way over. I'm currently working on a project which should make this machine a lot faster, but that's a story for another day. So basically everything's driven by these ball screws, which are kind of like a big screw with a high precision nut on it, and it just rotates those so things can move back and forth, and everything runs along these linear bearings, which are dirt cheap from China. When I was taking the old plate off, I managed to damage the old ones because they're nuts at seas. So it only cost about 30 or 40 bucks in parts to replace them, so yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, so that's now pretty much all homed. So normally what you'd do is at this point you'd mount a bit into the spindle, jog it over to where your workpiece is, set your coordinates up relative to your workpiece, but I can't be bothered doing that, so I'm just going to hit play on the sample, and that should hopefully run without crashing into anything.
And so on the screen we can actually see
Yep.
the head. Okay, now hold still.
Well, this is just using a fairly trivial kinematic solution, which just drives the axes almost directly with some skew correction. But this software can drive all sorts of things like 5-axis machines, hexapods, and one guy had a 3-axis cable-driven setup to fly a ghost around a room. So he actually had 3 motors in arranged in a circle, well, a triangle, and it would just alter the cable lengths between the points so that you could position the ghost in 3-dimensional space anywhere between it. I'll probably actually do something like that for a Hector as well, because I do actually want to pull the spray can back a bit so we can have some kind of intensity control with it. For those who don't know, a Hector is a automatic spray painting bot. So you give it a spray can and it can spray paint artwork, which is kind of cool.
The print head would be quite large, depending on the colour.
It's just a solenoid that pushes on the nozzle of the spray can.
Full colour print head?
Well, with some manual
Yeah.
replacement.
So you don't have to go out at night to do your own graffiti. It's pretty impressive.
Send a pilotless robot out
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Send the
Just hover and do an outline of something. You need something that comes out on an arm, so it'll